kisses, falling into ditches, being stung by nettles. Your dress snags on a briar, and you cry out in mock horror. I cut my way through the tangle of thorns as if I were your prince. Charming me, you undo your buttons as you step out of your dress. Your dress hangs like a chrysalis. You let down your golden hair and we make love then and there. A tractor and some cows go by. We laugh and try to hide. The sun beats down on my bum. We giggle and come, return to the big old dirty town and turn our blackberry picking days into luscious winter jam. Thank you. Sorry, did you say something?
No.
Ah, I thought you did. Kit, I don't know, there might be somebody else in the room. Kit and I are the only people who can speak fluent telepathy. So I thought that you actually said something. She did. So what Kit said to me is, why have you got the high-heeled shoes and the pink champagne up there? And that's a good question. As I said, I'm not feeling very ill. I'm feeling very ill at the moment, and I have to leave things around the room to prompt my memory. So the next poem is called Pink High-Heeled Shoes, which I would have totally forgotten if they weren't there. I bought these to go along with the pink champagne, just as a photo opportunity. And they're rather large. And I bought them they were reduced from £5 down to £2.50. And I thought, they will make a nice photograph, I'll arrange them artfully and take a picture of it. And last week, I got a chance to wear them. And even though I bought them just for a photo opportunity and without any thought of wearing them, they actually fit me. How spooky is that? That is telling me something, I think. Holly, who is this lovely lady over here, doesn't always run, a poetry bottle. And it crossed, get this, it crossed burlesque with poetry. And we all had to dress up. I was the only guy, so I had to dress up. And I discovered that, ladylike things like fishnets are cool to look at, but they're also incredibly cool to wear. Boas trapped the heat, something terrible. I had to take it off. I was going, my God, sweating in this. Quite nice to wear a dress. I often wear a kilt, so a dress was just, one step away from that. So it was quite nice and I enjoyed it very much. It was a poetry bottle, and all those poetry whores had to read a poem on stage, and then we were sent out to the crowd to go to a private space with them, and we had to read a poem to them. And I was the only wallflower in the poetry bottle. Jan was incredibly popular altogether. I think people were just scared to go into a small dark room with a 15-stone man in a dress and fishnets. They just didn't trust what would happen. So next time I shall go in my pirate mode and be more accommodating like that. So this is called Pink High-Heeled Shoes. People used to say, oh, you're a poet. And being a poet, not being a poet is terrible. When people find out you're a poet, that can be terrible. So I remember I was going in for an operation, and I was on the cart, and they were rolling me in, and they were going, count down, Mr. Dempsey, 10, 9, 8. No, you're a poet, are you? Well, go on, give us a poet. And I go, there's a very famous Irish poet. He writes in Irish, and he was going in for a major operation, and the young little nurse that was with him said, are you Maurice O'Riordan? And he said, yes. And she said, you bastard, I failed my leaving cert because of your poem. So becoming a school poet like that can be a dangerous occupation. Anyway, people will tell you, go on, give us a poem then. Go on. And it's when you're not feeling it, you're off duty, you don't feel like writing, and they want a poem there and then, not just one that you have already. And my friend kicked off her high-heeled shoes, and she said, write me a poem about my shoes. And they happened to be pink. And she said, write me a poem called Pink High-Heeled Shoes. And I thought, you don't know what you've walked into. Because I know all about pink high-heeled shoes. and what happened was already in my head, so it was one of the easiest poems that I had to read. She also stipulated that I should bring back the title, Pink High-Heeled Shoes, as many times as I possibly could. So this is how this poem came about, called Pink High-Heeled Shoes. I remember drinking pink champagne from your pink high-heeled shoes. I remember making love with you wearing only your pink high-heeled shoes. I remember how your pink high-heeled shoes became candle holders, ashtrays, where you stashed your hash, deadly weapons in a row. And you asked me if I remember your pink high-heeled shoes. Do I? I do. Thank you. Et maintenant, silence, ma jolie petite enfance. I hope you have been listening to that poem. I should have warned you to listen carefully because I'm not going to ask questions about it. So, don't all shout out at once. You can tell I've been a teacher. I want you to put your hands up and I want you to tell me the 4 ways in the poem, the 4 uses that can be made of high-heeled shoes. Put your hand up if you know the answer and if you know all 4. Thomas.
Ashtray, candle holder, place to stash, weed, and weapon.
Weapon. My God, man, this guy. And he wins the bottle of champagne. And that's why I told you to listen carefully. But you're going, oh, he's doing that stupid pink champagne poem. I won't listen to that. How wrong you are. All right. I'll finish with a kid's poem to get away from all that sex and stuff like that. It was my daughter's 3rd year being herself, and she had about 40 of her peers around, and they were going absolutely bananas. And we're in the next room. I had escaped their presence, and I thought, oh, I'm going to have to go in there and quieten them down. What in God's name are they doing? And it was rather frightening because the sound was atrocious. And I approached the door, and just as I approached the door, the silence cut like a cicada. And that was even more scary. I thought, my God, what's happened now? And I reached for the handle, and as I reached for the handle, the door opened, hit me in the face. 40 kids ran out, and they basically said this haiku. And it's called, New Dog, Old Tricks. The dog's in the loo! We was teaching him to pee! And he just fell in. Thank you. Okay, I like doing that poem. Brings me back to my daughter in one quick little flash like that. The next man to come to the stage is Mr. Champagne himself, Thomas Thurman. The only man who can do a magnificent parody of Gilbert and Sullivan, who can recite all of Horatius Kept the Bridge. I also can do quite a lot of Horatius Kept the Bridge. Now, who shall stand by my right hand and keep the bridge with me? Why? Because I had it beaten into me when I was at school. And school back in Ireland back then meant learning it off by heart. So we got there and we were doing Julius Caesar. And we were learning Julius Caesar by rote all the way up. It came to the exam and we'd only half the play learned. And the first question on the exam was, when the ghost of Caesar appears to Brutus on the plains of Philippi, and I go, Caesar's dead? Nobody told me! But I can still do lots of Julius Caesar if the occasion merits it, but it doesn't. Thomas, you're going to do Kiss Snickers for me, aren't you?
I will.
Yes. Another word of warning, we are doing the Bardi Art Anthology, our second one. So if you read here, you can put about 4 poems in, you might get 4 poems in, you might get 1 poem in. I'm after this man to give me poems, he hasn't put his poems in yet. That is why I'm digging them like that, to try and get him to put the poems in.
Yeah.
And one of the poems I want is Kid Snickers.
Okay, Yes.
This is Kit, by the way.
Yes, Kit. She has Snickers.